لا وجود لأدلة حقيقية تؤكد وجود أي تدخلات في عمل الجهاز الفني. استمعنا لوجهة نظر الأندية بين مؤيد ومعارض. رئيس الاتحاد أعرب عن رضاه بحديثه عن الواقع الحالي. نرجو إن شاء الله الأفضل لهذه الرياضة في القادم القريب. السلام عليكم مشاهدينا الكرام. لماذا لم ينجح منتخبنا الوطني الأول في التأهل لمونديال قطر 2022؟ وهل قدم الأحمر أفضل ما لديه في التصفيات النهائية المؤهلة للمونديال؟ وماذا عن المرحلة القادمة وأهم الأهداف التي يسعى منتخبنا الوطني لتحقيقها بقيادة المدرب الكرواتي برانكو إيفانكوفيتش؟ Mr. Branko Ivankovic, head coach of our national team, welcome on Oman Sport TV.
Thank you for your invitation. I hope so. We should give some information to auditorium and to explain everything what they have interest about the football, about the national team, about the sports, everything.
Thank you. First of all, coach, let's start with the most important question. Why we couldn't qualify for the World Cup?
This is a good question. As you know, first day I said that I have a dream, try to do something with the Oman national team, prepare the national team to qualify. Of course, I know this should be very hard, very tough, because our first plan was to qualify for the last stage, qualify for the Qatar, and we did very well. And unfortunately, we had a very tough and hard group with the three teams, Saudi, Japan and Australia team, which normally last 20 years participate on the World Cup. They have a lot of experience and generally they have better football in their national league. Of course, I'm coach, and always when I step on the field, I step with only one meaning, how to beat our opponent. I know that Japan team is the best in Asia in FIFA ranking, team which has a lot of international players, maybe 20 players playing in the Europe, in the League 5, with of course the best teams, and of course they have a lot of experience, and this is some big advantage for them. Also, Australia is a little bit different team, strong, tall, tough team, also with international players who playing in the Europe and in all over the world. And Saudi, we know the Saudi Arabians, traditionally they have a good team. I know we don't, but...
Okay, coach, what we miss in order to compete, to be on their level? What has made that big difference between us and them?
Of course, first of all, here we need to create it, to prepare, to make a good league.
Good league.
Because this is basic for the players, because we can use the players for our league. Of course, after the Arabic Cup, after these qualifier games, a lot of clubs from Middle East show and they have interest to use our players. As you know now, actually, our 8 players is outside of Oman. This is good for them, maybe not so good for the national team, but they will play as a professional. They will use professional style of the playing, and they will play stronger league than Omani league. This is good For them, this is good for national team. This is good for young people, young boys to come to the football, to play, to make maybe some career. This is first of all because we need a strong league with hard work. As you know, last 2 years because of pandemic, Corona, many times our players couldn't have chance to play official games. They couldn't have chance to make a training. I'm talking about the players, not just of national team players. Fortunately, I had good lucky because I...
But in the end, coach, all of our opponents faced the same challenge, I mean, in the end. And you had an advantage with very long camps. I mean, was it enough for you to prepare the team for those big matches?
It was a good point for us to have a long-term camp because I should see the players direct in the national team, in our training. We had chance to prepare from same, almost like in the club. You saw our performance in Japan, also in Saudi at home, and we prepared the team very well. And of course, we didn't have chance to select more players because because it's not league. Last year, the players start with the club start, I think, around September 1st. And before 5-6 months they didn't do nothing. This is a problem. I understand everything, but expect now the league start. Next season will be also league start. As you know, in Saudi, in Qatar, they have a normal league during this period. Of course, maybe some start with the pandemic. They stopped lockdown, but now after that they start with the league and they play normal league.
Okay.
Same like in Europe.
Okay.
I'm talking about the players from Australia, from Japan.
We performed very well in some matches. We did very well, but in the end we lost the match. For example, the match against Saudi Arabia, home and away, we did very well. Against Japan as well in this stadium, we lost 1-0, although we performed very good performance. Why we lost those matches and we did well? How can you answer, analyze
not easy.
that?
It's not easy to make answer. First of all, as I said, I created almost new team. Many new players come to the national team, players who didn't play before the national team, players who players who were not together, was not in the camp with the national team. Of course, for them it's something new. This is first one. Sometimes something also I use a lot of young players and try to find the players with the modern characteristic for the playing, fast, aggressive players who can running and who want to learn. I am very happy with our players because they want to work, very hard work. Really, I enjoyed the work with them. And because of it, we made a lot of good things. Of course, they need hard work. They need improved in any details like technique, like tactic, like physical preparation, everything. But they have potential. And you could see, for example, Kamisi, Amjad, Arshad, players who, for example, Kamisi and Amjad, they didn't be close with the national team, but they show. Salah same, they show maybe European quality, not just Middle East quality. And this is also was one problem to be together. They didn't have enough self-confidence because their first time what's going on, can we play? No, first game was against Jordan. Also, I didn't know how will the player react on this game, you know. But game by game, they collect self-confidence. Also experience, special experience to playing against strong team like Japan, like Australia, like Saudi, also like China or Vietnam, because all teams better qualified, better ranking than Oman on FIFA ranking.
Okay, you mentioned that we had strong opponents on our group, but we were lucky as well not to travel to Australia and to China because of the pandemic. And we played against them in Doha and in UAE. But we lost against Australia and we draw with China. Why we couldn't make use of that advantage and at least win China or draw with Australia? Because those points, those details.
It was not advantage for us. Why? Because, as you know, China was 3 months in Emirates. They have preparation because they couldn't play in China, and they spent more than 3 months. They cut the league. The league was cancelled, and the national team was whole day in the camp in Dubai. Also, Australia for them is much better to play in Qatar than Australia. Why? First of all, in Australia also cannot play with in front of the spectators. Second one, a lot of players playing in Europe, and for them it's much easier to come to the Qatar than go to the Australia.
But okay, we avoid in the end the long distance trip, and that is an advantage, coach.
Yeah, but they didn't have a long distance. This is 4 hours from Europe when we came home. But this is maybe small. We traveled to Japan, also was 11 hours trip, you know, also for us. But this is small advantage, you know. This is not a big advantage in this moment. The most important is quality of the players. In this moment, maybe they have really some extra players, especially Japan, Saudi, or Australia. It's special players who playing in the best clubs in Europe.
Back again, coach. We started most of the matches with the formation of 4-4-2, the classic diamond, playing with one defensive midfielder and 2 strikers. Why is that? Although even when we play with the strong opponents or let's say a weak one, we keep on the same formation. Why?
First of all, when I came, I preferred to play different than the other teams here in Asia, in the Middle East. This is one of the second one, I want to play more offensive. I want to play to be a team which surprised, because before nobody expect Oman to play offensive, to play pressing, high pressing, you know. And also we have some players, because you know, we have 6 strikers, and I try to find the two the best. And also many teams today play with 1 defensive midfield players. But many games they play Fawaz and Arshad. They have quality to be defensive midfield player, because they're in club. They play many games as defensive midfield players, and also they have offensive approach, and they have these habits to go to the opponent's attacking third. And of course, I want, with this style of the playing, I want to use the risk. Without risk, it's not possible to make any good result. Second one, I want to think about ourselves. If I'm thinking too much about opponent, too much about another teams, then we cannot make a result.
But sometimes, coach, don't you think we have to surprise the opponents? I mean, after the first and second round, our strategy, our shape was clear for the other opponents. Sometimes, don't we need to surprise them?
This is not what is in methodology, because if you follow many teams usually they don't change formation. But today you cannot. Everything is clear. You know, you have, for example, TV, video, YouTube. You can see everything and know any secret about the games. It does depend about the players, quality players. Second, also one important, that we have players for such a style of the playing. It was style of the playing with full risk. I know it, but the players use very well. They are very disciplined, and the most important, we were very compact. If you make analysis, Japan didn't make any opportunity. Saudi Arabia, they beat us 2 times. They didn't create any opportunity in 2 games, but they scored.
But they won in the end, and this is the most important thing, coach.
Yeah, okay. This is something what they have quality. Australia also they created some opportunities. China, okay, almost nothing. Vietnam also they score here just by accident. What I want to say, with such style of the playing, we prepare the team to be in any phase is good. What's mean? In defense, in midfield, and also in attack phase. Why? With this style of the playing, of course, as you see, I insist to our fullbacks to be full offensive. But of course, respect the defense approach and also to be full offensive. And I want to be offensive and finish attacking with 4 or 5 players. And it was good. And for many teams was surprised because you cannot see many teams in all the world to play 4-4-2 in diamond. Only now against Saudi and Australia we changed formation because during the preparation we prepared the team to play 4-4-2 diamond and 4-4-2 flat. And against Saudi we play flat and also against Australia. Why? Because 10 players was out of the team because of Corona. 10 players.
But playing with flat 4-4-2, has it changed some of your ideas? I mean, didn't you see the team better than the diamond way?
Always we can discuss about it. But also the vision and philosophy and idea was same. High press, if it's possible. Of course, then the work these 2 defensive will be a little bit different. But also the main idea stays same. High press, to be offensive, we play with 2 strikers, and also we made a lot of trouble for our opponent.
Okay, in some matches...
But with this flat, we may be easier to cover winger position.
Yeah, exactly, this is the point.
Yeah.
Anyway, we noticed as well the late changes. In some matches you did very late changes where we were looking for a win on those matches. Let's talk about the China match, Saudi Arabia and Australia as well. I mean, putting or asking a player to be on the field on the minute of 87 or on the added time with the second half, what do you expect from a player in such short period of time to do?
Look, we can always discuss about this if it's late or not too late. Many things depend about during the game, what's happened. I think we change on time. Sometimes it was not possible. For example, we got a goal because the player waiting out was not break of the game. He couldn't go inside. But what has happened? For example, now against Australia, I changed 2 players during the half time. This is something what depends.
Okay, why you changed them?
First of all, I changed Galani. Why? Because Galani was under Corona, and he came 2 days before the game, and he was not 100% ready.
Okay, why you put him on the starting 11?
Because we didn't have players.
Mu'taz Saleh was doing well against Saudi Arabia.
Who?
Mu'taz.
No, he played. But this is something.
And you moved him against Australia to the midfield.
Yeah, put him on the midfield because we didn't have players. Also, Moxen was not. Moxen was under Corona. Omar Malki also was under Corona. Jamil is under Corona. Zahir was under Corona.
But coach, when we talk about the defensive line, you should keep it as it is.
But
I mean, making 2 changes, clearly there was a weak point on the left side against Australia, and you noticed that.
It was weak point before. Maybe Galani made some mistakes, but Galani has experience and he played many games. And also I want to protect this left side with because the right back, I know right back play in Croatia, Karadzic, and don't allow them to, and also not allowed to play free. I expect maybe he can have problem because he came 2 days before the game from Saudi, and why? Because if I put somebody, I don't have any other solution. You know what I mean? Why I put, for example, Omar behind Khalid? If I put Ghassani, then during the game I don't have any other solution to change the game. And as you remember, I changed Omar second half and changed Galani and put also Mahmoud. He's not winger. He's a right back because I didn't have any solution. I spoke with him, prepared him. Maybe during the game can happen. Maybe you have to play as a winger. And he played very well when you start the game. And also when Amjad became the injury, he moved back to as a right back. As you know, also Ramadan came when we arrived here because we didn't have played. Also Omar Malki, also Saud.
We noticed that we are one of the maybe two teams who suffered from coronavirus injuries. Why that happened, coach?
Look at this. Nobody knows how it happened because it's not possible to make 100% control.
Yeah, but the other teams, they could.
I cannot talk about this. Just happened because when the players made a test here, and we moved to.
But they didn't make the test before coming together. I mean, they did it after 1 or 2 days from starting the camp, right?
We made the test, and all of them was negative. You know, and we arrived to Saudi first. 3 players, and before the game also.
Okay. We saw you very happy by the end of the match against Australia when we draw 2-2. Although that result means that we are not qualifying for the World Cup. Why you were very happy?
I'm very happy because any result, good result is good for us. Why? Because such a result give us self-confidence. Second one, this result show us that we can play and to be competitive against any team. Third one, this excellent, the players show one strong mentality, you know, not against a weak team. Australia scored 1-0, but our players play. They have hope to maybe to be scored. Excellent goal from Fawaz. They score again, and also I had hope, and the players had the hope maybe we can equalize. As you saw, immediately after we equalized, Ramadan came in because I prepared him. Maybe he should. We can use him to protect the defense because when we equalize in last minute, it's not really expected. Okay, we will score till 2 goals.
But that result meant we left the
any result is very important. Any result is very important for players, for the national team, and for me as a coach. And I was very happy with this result. I was very proud of my players, especially in this case with a lot of problems, as I said before, without the 10 players.
8 points till now. Was it the best thing we could do?
Look, when we start these qualifying games, idea was go game by game, not calculate 8, 10. And now we have still games, and our
yeah, but there is a very big difference between us and the 3rd position,
yes,
Australia.
Of course, but if you compare with another group, 30, there's 1 point more than we. This is something what is with this group to have 8 points. I think is very good result.
Very good result.
Yes, for me, because as you know, Oman, I think second one or third one playing the final this
3rd time. Yes.
3rd time, and it's not normally to play. As you know, the Oman is not on this level like Japan, Saudi, Iran, Korea, and Australia.
Yeah, but those opponents are not on their best right now, coach. We all noticed that. Australia, Japan, and even Saudi, they are not on their best level.
Now we can discuss after these games, but before they start the competition, what was your idea?
They are much better than us, yeah. That was the idea. Yeah. But on the field, how things was? I mean,
this is their problem. But I think about us, how to play against these teams. And this is something why I'm satisfied that we show that we can be close with this team. Now, of course, with the future, I expect and I want to be closer to this team.
So generally you are satisfied about what you have done?
Yeah, I'm very satisfied. First of all, because we created one good team. Second one, have players who want to work, he want to enjoy the football, he want to learning, and they I spoke with many coaches from this, and they were surprised. They didn't expect Oman to play and to show this performance like we show during these qualifying games or Arab Cup or these games before.
Back again, coach. Now let's talk about the selection of players. And let me start with Ali Al Busaidi. He played 6 matches on the qualification for the World Cup, and suddenly before the Arab Cup, he was out of the squad. He was playing as one of the starting 11 on those 6 matches. Why you have excluded him?
First of all, of course, Ali Busaidi is an experienced player. He played for the national team many years, and of course he's a good player, is very important for the club, and of course he play for us all of these games, and of course I made decision to give Kabi and Matas chance, and he is not player to be on the bench. If he is playing, or it's better to not invite him. Because,
why not to be?
Because this is old player, good player, you know, for sure he cannot be satisfied if he's on the bench. And of course
So you think he will be satisfied when he's out of squad? If we are thinking about
this is my experience, my idea is better to use the Kabi and Matas, players who are younger, players who has potential, who can
But coach, sorry for interrupting you. Now regarding Ka'bi, Ahmed Al-Ka'bi, you did not give him the chance to play during the last matches in the qualification.
Yes.
And suddenly you push him with the starting 11 during the Arab Cup.
My philosophy, it's not easy to come inside the team. It's not easy to left from the team. You know, Kabi during this our camping showed many good quality, and just waiting situation when can I put him. And Arab Cup was excellent competition to give chance to some such.
Yeah, he did very well. But we are talking as well from the point of the options. Having Ali Busaidi, for example, on the bench wasn't an advantage for you.
No, it's okay. No, Kabi was substitute. I didn't want, as you saw, I rarely changed some players in the team, especially defense line. You know, and I waited. Okay, finish this part of the qualifying games during Arab Cup to give chance some players to see how they make a reaction. And I'm very satisfied, especially as you saw also against Australia. Matas play very well, and.
But you were not focusing on Mu'taz for a long time. Mu'taz wasn't one of your options.
Matas was with us in some camping before.
Yeah, but I mean as
same situations with Ali Busaidi. You know, because Ali Busaidi and Kabi was on this position. I tried with the Matas as midfield players, but that time was not on something what I expect. And okay, he has a club. During through club and these games, he should show himself if he can play for the national team or not. As you see, I invite maybe 1 or 2 players, new players, not too much, to join us, to see like Taibi now, like Ayman again, to be with us, to help what's going on, because I follow the games, and so it's very interesting some things of some players, but I can I cannot change too much.
Okay, I know this question have been repeated for you more than one time. Ahmed Mbarak Kano, who played more than 15 years with the national team and playing more than 180 international matches with the national team. Suddenly he's out of the squad. Why?
But first of all, as you remember, during this spring, he didn't play in Qatar. He was out of the team, and of course I didn't.
Wait, coach. Sorry for interrupting you. He was playing. I mean, he was with Al Markhia.
But he didn't play.
Who told you?
I followed. He didn't play. He was out of the squad. He trained alone. I'm talking about the
He
spring.
himself said he was one of the team in Al Markhia playing, registered as a foreigner player. Yeah,
he was registered, but he didn't play.
But he's saying again he was playing.
No, okay, but doesn't matter.
Sorry, coach, it does matter. Who has given you that piece of information, I mean?
I follow, because also I follow what's going on with Jamil. Kanu told he didn't play. He's on the training in Qatar. I'm talking about 1 year ago.
Yeah, I know, and I know that you have visited Kano and you watched his match against the Rayan. He was the best player of that match. So again, giving this piece of information, and the player then said he was playing. Even the management of Al Markhia, they said that Ahmed Kano is playing, training with them.
No, it doesn't matter this.
No, sorry, coach.
No, it's okay. Just I want to explain what's going on with Kano. Kano is 38 years old, 37. And I said when I came that we will try to make a team, one combination team, not for today, for the future.
Perfect.
And of course, I had Harim on this position, Arshad and Fawaz, and this is my decision.
We respect that.
Yeah, these three players on this position. Also now I used Ayman, who is 29 years old, just to see if can help us present situation, but also we will see what's going on.
You did the right thing. I mean, it's in the end your decision. If you are thinking of the future, but saying that he's not training with his team and he doesn't have team, no, here we have to stop, coach. But, therefore, we repeated the question again. If the reason, because you are thinking of the future and Kano is a bit old age, okay, it's fine, your decision. But giving such information and then the players say no.
But I will also collect this information, what I know, that he didn't play or play very rare.
Who's giving you always those information? Team manager or coach,
we
assistant?
Discuss all the time. We discuss analysis of the players, who is playing, who is not playing, how is situation with the players, who is injured, who is not injured. Daily we discuss about any players in our league and now international players.
Good. Mohammed Al-Ghafri as well, he was out of your focus for a long time, and then you brought him for the Arab Cup. He started against Qatar, a very big match, and you changed him by the end of the first half. And he's not anymore available with the squad.
Ghafri was all time with us. If you remember, when we started with the camp in the March, he was with us during preparation. He was with us whole time in the June and July. Also, he spent with us from August, all games he was with us. Okay, he played more because we had 6 players like Ghafri, Issam, Khalid, Ghassani, Mandari, Busaidi was also here. And of course, it's not easy to. Now he was injury, also because of it we didn't invite him.
Okay, what we noticed, coach, as well during those matches and the qualification, the ups and downs of the performance of some players. I mean, they play some very good matches and then there will be some downs and ups. Why? Why is that?
This is something what is normal, you know what I mean. It's not easy, as I said, special, for example, against Japan here. They have 2 defenders. One is captain of the Sampdoria, another one playing Arsenal. It's not easy to do something against these 2 players. They are the best defenders in Asia, maybe not just in Asia, in all over the world, one of the best par in defenders. Against such a defender, it's not easy to do. And of course, some players, especially for the strikers, So for the strikers, it's not easy to play. Always the most harder position is to be strikers, because our strikers or another striker is always between 2 players or 3 players. And it's normal that some players have good performance, but next time maybe not so good. Depend about the opponent. Also depend about the form. Depend about actual situation in the club, what's going on. Maybe some injury, maybe something happened. This is something what is always problem with the players.
Strikers, I mean, we change a lot. Khalid
Yes.
Al-Hajri, Muhsin, Mu'taz, Isam. Why is that? I mean,
Because I try to find the strikers who can easily to score. These 5 strikers is almost in same level. During the World Cup, Khalid was the best striker with the Arshad, you know, and of course he has a priority to play. Ghassani was almost our first option, but before the game against Japan, he became injury. And he was long-term injury. Isam also, sometimes he's playing good, sometimes he's not. This is something what they have to establish themselves and to be standard players.
okay. We noticed on the previous days some of our national team players left our league to other leagues in the Gulf or in Iran. Some of them have chosen, let's say, weak clubs and maybe weak leagues. Will it help them in the future?
Look, first of all, you have to know something. Before it was much easier to move, for example, from Oman to any other league in the Gulf. Why? Because the rule was you can have 3 foreign players plus 1 from Asia. But now in Emirates, in Saudi, in this Qatar, they use more Korean players and Japan players. And of course, it's not more place for the Omanian players. This is first. Second one, Oman league national team didn't have such quality to play them. Now, and if somebody will use the players, they want to use the players. You know, big club, they want and they need the big names from Brazil.
Okay, going to weak clubs, will it help them to develop, to improve?
What
do you think?
The most important is league. The league is very good in Qatar, strong league, professional league.
Bahrain, for example,
Bahrain,
Iran.
I don't know, but also is Bahrain is league. They have 2-3 clubs very well. They have a regular competition. And of course, the player want to move outside. They want to earn some money.
But for example, Faiz and Zahar, after going to Iran, playing there, now what do you see their performance?
Look at this. Faiz is playing almost every game he's on the game. This team they are 4th on the table. Iranian league is very strong, different than this league. I don't know why Zahar is not playing, but I can understand because I know philosophy in Iran. I know that they have a big advance, the local players, you know, and it's not easy for Zahar to play. For me, it's strange because I think that Zahar has a bigger quality for the better team, better league than Iranian league.
Okay.
But this is not going to depend about the coach.
Yes, sure. But sometimes you may advise them if possible. Anyway, now you have renewed your contract with Oman Football Association for 2 more years. What are the goals you are working to achieve during those 2 years?
We had an interview. I said that I prepared before plan for 4 years. It's been short-term plan. What was the games in Qatar to qualify for the Arab Cup, for the last stage of the qualify for the World Cup, and for the Asian Cup. It was a short. Middle was these qualifying games to see how we can play, to do something, collect this experience, to not finalize of the selection, but selection is always something what is going on, not stopped, and to see the players against this strong team like Saudi, like Japan, like Australia, like China. It's different style of the playing. And the final is a long-term period, is Asian Cup.
Okay.
Asian Cup.
What's our goal, Asian Cup?
Asian Cup, of course, always is for a team like Oman, or maybe not just these 2-3 teams, to qualify for the second part.
We already qualified. I mean,
No. So it means we start to go Asian Cup, group stage.
Okay.
We have to qualify from the group stage to the next stage. This is something to other. Then
it's not an achievement, coach. We already qualified for the stage of 16. Now, are we thinking of quarter-final, for example?
I told
semi-final?
I said I talk about this when we start the Asian Cup. Four teams in one group. My wish, idea, prepare to qualify for the next round, quarter-final, for example.
Okay, next round,
Same
round
like
16. You mean third round?
Yes.
Quarter-final.
Yes.
This will be your goal
This
to
is
achieve.
my idea, my achievement, everything, you know. And we will try to prepare. But in the football, you cannot guarantee for anything.
But
if you
it's a goal in the end.
This is a
target.
Target, and I prepare, as I said, I have a dream to go to the World Cup. I know that this should be very, very hard. Same like in now Asian Cup. First, we have to see our group. As you saw, we will be, I think, you know, in the fourth of these teams. And this is something what should be excellent result if we, from group stage to qualify for the quarterfinal.
Good. What about the Gulf Cup, the coming Gulf Cup? I mean, is it a goal to win it again, the Gulf Cup?
For me, as I said, always is goal to come to the pitch and to beat everybody. You know, Gulf Cup, of course, it should be excellent, and same West Asia competition will be excellent preparation for the China, for the Asian Cup.
Preparation only?
Not preparation, but of course to have a good competition, to have good games, and of course always thinking about the high level, not just to be participating.
So winning the title again.
Look at this.
We won it already twice.
Okay, winning. What's winning? But always is our idea to winning. You know? But you know, depend what's going on. Depend about the players, about the corona, about the opponent, about everything. You know.
Okay. One more thing I'd like to ask you about. Now the Olympic team, plus the youth team and under 17 team, they have stopped for a very long time. Okay, without technical stuff. How that will affect our first team in the coming years?
Yes, this is a problem. This is a problem because they didn't have competition. They didn't have possibility to make a training because, as I said, Corona destroyed many things. And now,
but we don't want to make it the main reason always for
okay,
any
the
problem
reason I don't like. But this is something what start federation to solve this problem. They use the new coaching staff for the under 19 and under 17, and they will start to find. But the most important to work with the clubs. The clubs should establish these youth teams and establish the academy to start to the work. For example, in Croatia, no any team cannot play in the Premier League if they don't have 5 selection. Under 12, 14, 16, 18, 21.
Good. Now, I believe you know Oman football generally very well. Okay, what we need in the coming years to be in a higher level, to qualify for the World Cup, for example, the coming World Cup, 2026.
Oman, first of all, in football, it's not possible to do something during the night. It's not possible. Oman should establish and start to work with the youth team to arrange, establish more professional teams, high-level professional, hard work. Hard work, it's mean professional work, every day, 2, 3, 4 hours per day. And this is the first step. And then, of course, national team is something special. If the national team can make good result, then everything will be growing up. teams, players. It should be excellent, high-level motivation for everybody. But the most important to be patient and to thinking how to improve the team. For example, Italy is European champion, but maybe they don't qualify for the World Cup.
Clear.
This is because same like Portugal. Portugal before was in French was European champion. Now they play.
So we have to focus on the clubs, on the
First
competitions.
yes, first the clubs.
Situation of the players as well. They should be professional as well.
The clubs should be professional with the players. They have to more time for the training. Last season they start September 1st instead of October 1st, for example, and they have they are too much free and too much empty space.
Thank you so much, Coach, for being with us today, and we wish you all the best with our national team in the coming future.
Thank you very much, and I hope so. We will enjoy in our football.
Thank you so much. إذا كما تابعنا مشاهدينا الكرام، منتخبنا الوطني الأول قدم مستوى فني طيب في مشواره في التصفيات النهائية المؤهلة للمونديال. نعم، ربما فرطنا في بعض النقاط من خلال بعض القراءات الفنية، ولكن في المجمل مشروع المونديال مشروع كبير جدا، لابد أن يكون فيه العمل مختلف على مستوى المراحل السنية، الأندية، المسابقات والمنتخبات كذلك، ولابد أن تتضافر كل الجهات المعنية لتحقيق هذا الحلم الكبير الذي طال انتظاره. نرجو كل التوفيق إن شاء الله لكرتنا في المرحلة القادمة وتحقيق الأهداف التي نصبو إليها. إلى اللقاء. لا وجود لأدلة حقيقية تؤكد وجود أي تدخلات في عمل الجهاز الفني. استمعنا لوجهة نظر الأندية بين مؤيد ومعارض. رئيس الاتحاد أعرب عن رضاه في حديثه عن الواقع الحالي. نرجو إن شاء الله الأفضل في هذه الرياضة في القادم.